Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at a report from Center for American Progress and fwd.us forward.us, that is, or at least I'm assuming. Study the impact of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program repeal on jobs. A timeline of the devastating and far-reaching job loss consequences if DACA is repealed. Developed by the Center for American Progress, CAP, and fwd forward, I'm assuming, .us. Now, the thing is one of these organizations is a Zuckerberg organization, and he's a globalist. The thing is they're trying to make it sound like it's going to be detrimental for this country and for Americans if these DACA protected individuals are told, you got to go. The thing is, it would actually be quite the opposite. And as we go through this and you look between the lines, that's pretty apparent. That it's more beneficial for America and Americans, the ending of it. They don't want to say that, and they try to twist things to make it sound quite the opposite. But if you have half a brain, you can see they're full of shit. Summary. Since the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program was established in 2012, nearly 800,000 young people who came to this country as children have been granted temporary protection from deportation and allowed to live, work, and contribute to the only country most of them have ever known, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services 2017. Now, the thing is this is to play off people's heartstrings, okay? This is to make people feel guilty. Because, oh, well, it's the only country that most of them have ever known. So, well, that's not our problem. That's their parents screwed them on that one. It's not our responsibility to take responsibility for their fucking parents' actions. We're not their parents. We're not the parents of the parents. We're not the kids' parents and the parents' parents. We're a country that has to worry about our own people first. And once we worry about our own people, what we have beyond that, I'm more than willing to share. I got no problems with that. But we've got Americans that need to be looked at and tended to and cared for first. Over the past 5 years, 91% of DACA recipients have found gainful employment and are currently working for companies across the country. Okay. I love how they put that there. And they leave out the fact that those could be jobs that Americans should be, those could be jobs that Americans would be doing if these DACA people weren't doing them. It's a simple fact. We're going to see how many jobs they take away from Americans a little bit further on in this. In this next paragraph, the following report, developed by the Center for American Progress and forward.us, highlights the escalating job losses that will occur over the course of 2 years if DACA renewal is put on hold, even for a short period of time. I love how they say that, job loss. How many unemployed Americans are there right now? I can tell you right now, way more than they're going to friggin' lose here with these fucking jobs of like unemployment. So they're going to be able to fill the fucking jobs. They don't want you to know that because they're trying to push this globalist thing and keep wages down and keep Americans suppressed financially because, if you're suppressed financially, you're suppressed in other ways because you're worried about just getting by. And Zuckerberg's a piece of shit. He's a globalist. He's openly admitted this. So, as we go on here, let's continue. The findings reinforce the devastating consequences a repeal would inflict on DACA recipients and their families, as well as the dire, far-reaching consequences to communities across the country, to employers, and to the American economy across all regions and sectors. Let's go through this sentence. So their findings reinforce that there's devastating consequences if a repeal happens with DACA to the recipients. Who gives a shit? They're not Americans. We got Americans to worry about. It's not that devastating. They got to go back to their home fucking country where they were born. I mean, you leave out that fact that a lot of these kids come here when they're several years old. Okay? So they're old enough to remember their country. Or at least vaguely remember it. All right? Their families, why? Because they're helping their illegal families by supporting them. And then they're sending their, actually, they're helping their families send money back to Mexico and to other places in Central and South America. And that their families would have to go back too, because their families are also part of this, like, you know, reprisal from deportation. As well as dire, far-reaching consequences to communities across the country. What communities? Seriously. Because I'm not seeing that. I mean, yeah, you're going to have people leave a particular community, and the only communities that's going to really affect are the small sections in cities and towns that are predominantly Hispanic, that have driven out the blacks, who are now at a disadvantage because of this fucking shit. So, if anything, it's going to help the blacks. Because they're not going to be driven out of their own neighborhoods and shit. It's going to cut down on gang violence too, because not all of these people are upstanding individuals. It's going to cut down on crime as well, because again, they're not all upstanding individuals like you're trying to portray. Okay, and let's get into this now. The employers. Yeah, because these kids, these individuals, these quote-unquote kids, because a lot of them are adults because they've been here for a very long time, and they keep getting repeal, you know, they keep getting it pushed back on them getting the fuck out, because they just get every 2 years, they just got to renew. Okay? They're driving wages down. So it's hurting Americans. It's great for employers. So yeah, it's going to hurt the employers on the note that they're actually going to have to pay Americans decent fucking wages to fill their positions now. Oh my God. Oh, that's a real fucking bad thing there, suckanut. And the American economy, no, this is going to improve the American economy. Because why? You're going to have Americans doing these jobs for more money, and because they're doing them for more money, that means they're going to have more money to fucking go and spend, which they're then going to put into the economy, which is then going to stimulate the economy more, because then that's going to mean that another business can hire more people. Those people are going to get paid. Those people are going to contribute to the economy, and it's going to be exponential growth. But you want to leave that fact out. I mean, I'm not even an economics fucking major. I've got a degree in fucking history. And I can tell how full of shit this is. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. Oh. And it's the American economy across all regions and sectors. So they're saying north, south, east, west, it's going to have an effect. Yeah. But not what they're claiming. Because when these people leave, that opens up jobs for Americans. Americans want to work, but they're having problems finding jobs, in part because these DACA people are undercutting the wages and working in the jobs. And in the sectors, yeah, because a lot of these people are been adults, they've been in this country for a while, they're in things like building trades, again, driving down the wages, okay? Taking skilled jobs, okay, like cabinetry work, okay, or finishing work. And those were traditionally higher paid jobs. But because these people have come in, they've lowered the wages. So these were good paying blue collar jobs that allowed for, you know, the single parent, you know, well, not single employed parent, you know, dual parent, single employed parent, you know, one breadwinner type of household. Now, not so much because of that. So, yeah, real fucking detrimental. Yeah. It's going to improve the fucking things like that you're talking about here. Okay, with the note of the economy and wages and the communities and everything else. I don't care what you say. You're full of shit. This report specifically finds that for every business day that DACA renewals are put on hold, more than 1,400 DACA recipients will lose their ability to work and could be let go by American employers. Good! 1,400 a day in a population of 300 plus million is not a big fucking deal. And it's only business days. It's not like it's 7 days a week. That's fucking a piss in the bucket. But yet you want to make it sound like it's so scary and such a big number. It's not. More Americans got let go from their jobs on a daily fucking basis than this shit. So shut the fuck up. This is such bullshit. This could result in monthly job losses of more than 30,000 individuals each month. Okay. In total, if DACA is revoked, nearly 700,000 individuals who are currently employed and contributing as productive part of the American workforce would be stripped of their ability to work and could be fired over the course of the next 2 years. Okay, so let's look at this now, because this goes to show you how fucking screwed in the head these individuals are to put out this report. They're worried about DACA individuals. We've got millions of Americans looking for fucking work. Millions. American. Born and bred. White, black, all of complexion. It don't matter. All walks of life, all ethnic backgrounds, okay? Looking for work. But they're having a problem because there are 700,000 jobs that they can't get because you have illegals that are getting a reprieve because they're not legal as far as I'm concerned. They came here illegally. They've got a temporary reprieve. They've got a, yeah, you're illegal, but we're going to let you stay fucking pass for the moment. All right? Because of them, there are 700,000 jobs that Americans should be doing right now. Or legal fucking immigrants, not illegal aliens who have got a fucking temporary fucking reprieve. This right here should make you go, huh. So they don't want Americans to have these 700,000 jobs. So every month, 30,000 Americans would have new jobs available to them. In an economy where Americans want to work. Especially black Americans, black men in particular, who have been hit the hardest by the economy. So you want to take advantage of these Hispanics, keep the blacks on the Democratic plantation, and not have them fucking working. That's some fucked up shit, sucker nut. Background. 5 years ago, the Department of Homeland Security issued a memo establishing the DACA program. Department of Homeland Security, 2012. Bullshit. Complete lie. I love how you're misrepresenting this. That's actually a result of an executive order from Obama, okay, circumventing the rule of law, circumventing the will of the people, okay, by executive order. He created it. Homeland Security implemented it. Let's get the facts fucking straight here. The memo delineated a set of criteria by which certain young people who are brought to the United States as young children do not present a risk to national security or public safety and meet several key criteria would be able to receive a temporary protection from deportation for a period of 2 years and be eligible to apply for work authorization. Now, I love how they word this. Because it's to play off your sympathy with the fact of they were brought here as young children, like it's out of their control. Yeah, it's out of their control, but it's out of our control and it's not our fucking responsibility. Hate to break it to you, but it's not. So the next thing is they do not present a risk to national security or public safety. Well, how do you know that? You don't know that. If they're a criminal and they've never been caught, there's no way to know that because there's no information in the country where they were born really on them. Maybe a birth certificate, something like that. But there's no real information for a background check. So there's no way that these people can be properly fucking vetted. It's honest to God's truth about it. But yet, you want to make it sound like, oh yeah, it's all safe. And so, if they're not a risk to national security or public safety, but you don't know if they're a gangbanger if they've never been caught. And I love this. And they meet several key criteria. Well, what are those criteria? I love how you don't specify that. So they were able to receive temporary for a period of 2 years. So, all right, let's get back to this now, looking at this real quick, because I just wanted to make sure that I got everything covered so far. Now, after going through that safety check, they meet several key criteria, would be able to receive a temporary protection from deportation. Yes, temporary. But see, you want this to be perpetual, as in permanent. Americans don't want that. They want those fucking jobs. They want them to go to put Americans to work, first and foremost. And they get this protection for a period of 2 years and be eligible to apply for work authorization. So, yeah, it's temporary. 2 years and work during those 2 years. Well, it's been longer than 2 years. See ya. Get the fuck out. That's the way I see it. It's time to end. It's time to just get DACA completely done and over with. Get the people the fuck out of Dodge and end it. Put Americans back to work. America first. Fuck globalism. But yet people think we have to do this. I mean, look. What about all the Americans that need the help? Oh, that little white child over there starving to death? Oh, well, fuck him because he's white? But, yeah, that's how the left thinks these days. It's disgusting. Individuals who are eligible are required to complete an application process and undergo a thorough background check, including fingerprinting and are required to renew their deferred action every 2 years. Now, as I said, if they're brought here as children, if they've never been caught for crimes in this country, there's nothing back in the country they were born in, there's nothing really here, this background check is a fucking joke. And the fingerprinting, same thing. It's not like they're all in a digital fucking database and a computer can just go and pull a fucking fingerprint out and go, oh yeah. No, it don't work like that. Further, the DHS Secretary issued a memo directing the heads of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and Customs and Border Protection to establish a process to implement this exercise of prosecutorial discretion across their agencies to ensure that enforcement resources are not expended on these low-priority cases, but are instead appropriately focused on people who meet our enforcement priorities. Department of Homeland Security, 2014. All of them! Okay, meet the level for enforcement priorities. They're all, if they're here fucking legal, end of fucking story. Okay, there's none of this shit going on in fucking Mexico. If you tried to fucking pull this shit in Mexico and say, well, you guys should have a DACA, they would fucking laugh at you. Then they would throw you in jail, you'd get a bunch of strange burritos up your ass, and that'd be the story of your life, because you probably wouldn't make it out of prison there. And all because you decided, hey, I'm a dreamer, I want to be here. But yet, America, we just send them back. Mexico, you go to prison, get anally raped, and then you go back. Despite the positive economic benefits of the program and the overwhelming public support of DACA recipients, bullshit. Oh, God. You're using Politico? Why not? Why did you use fucking Snopes while you're at it? Oh, you fucking idiots. Politico is about as reliable of a source with how left-leaning and how biased it is as Wikipedia is these days. And they're not very trustworthy. Not when you have feminists going out in gangs and changing fucking shit they don't like. Okay? Oh, you fucking idiots. So, support for DACA recipients. The program has recently come under imminent threat of repeal, putting its safety, livelihoods, and well-being of those incredible young people at risk. Excuse me. Overwhelming support. No, try overwhelming support against, because that's one of the fucking things the president ran on, and he got elected. Oh, holy fucking shit, you morons. Use your brains. And I love how you put these incredible young people at risk. Some of them aren't exactly that incredible, or that young at this point. Because a lot of people got DACA that weren't kids at the point that they got it. 10 Republican state attorney generals and Idaho Governor Butch Otter have threatened to sue President Trump if he doesn't end DACA by September 5th. Attorney General Ken Paxton, 2017. Setting up a virtual collision course where DACA could be put on hold by a federal judge or where the program could be repealed, with DACA renewal applications being halted immediately by the administration. Which is exactly what happened. Don't have a problem with it either. I got no problem with DACA being dead. Further, recent reports have indicated that the Trump administration is strongly considering ending DACA, which they already did. And you're using Axios as a... Wow. DACA recipients are upstanding members of our communities, and everyone in the program has gone through an application process, passed an extensive background check, including fingerprinting, paid the required fee, and is a student or service member or holds a job. Well, they've gone through the application process, yes. They passed a quote-unquote extensive background check, which is complete bullshit because, like I said, there's no record of them from the country that they came from in most cases. Then there's the fact of they could be a gangbanger, and as long as they didn't get caught, there's not going to be anything on the background check. And fingerprinting is a fucking junk science. Yes, you can match, but because of different pressure on an appendage, like on a finger, the print isn't going to be consistent. It's not like, you know, you touch and boom, every time you leave the same mark. I mean, there's human input on deciding whether or not a print is someone's print or not. I mean, it's not like there's a machine where it spits out, yeah, this is so-and-so, this is what they've done. So that doesn't mean shit. Because I highly doubt there are people actually going through the fingerprints and making sure that they're not, you know, fingerprints of someone in a, you know, that's suspected of a crime. And if they're a student, they're getting that for free. So that's another thing. Let's look at that. Because, hell, that's money that could go for an education of an American. If they're a service member, there's already a program that allows them to, as they serve their country, become an American citizen. Along with their family. And then that fact of holding the job, well, there's 700,000 jobs that Americans would like. So, bye-bye. DACA recipients are required to renew their deferral every 2 years in order to maintain their work authorization and their protection from deportation, and to show that they have continued to meet the program requirements. An estimated 200,000 DACA recipients have had their deferred action renewed by President Trump since he took office in January. Well, yeah, because he didn't decide to end it. Obama's executive order. So it was business as usual. But you're trying to make it sound like he personally fucking did the renewals. So you can try to make it sound like he's being hypocritical and shit. So total DACA recipients, benefit expiration with loss of work authorization and subject to deportation. Quarter. Total DACA expirations per quarter, 90,000. DACA expirations per month, 30,000. Yeah, so you have these people that really, really, really want to stay. So you look. You get the first year, oh shit, I better do this. The second year from 18 on, 115,000. It's like, whoa, I thought I took care of it. Then the ones who fucking got snapped back to reality, it went down. Then it went back up again to 152. Then it 120. I mean, yeah. So people don't give a shit. They're like, well, I already did it once or whatever. And They don't care. Wow. DACA recipients with job force loss chart. These are all their expirations, so of course they're going to lose their fucking job. Wow. Twist this shit. I mean, just look at this. How many per business day? I mean, but you can look at the chart and go further. I mean, I'm just looking at this going, oh my God. This is such bullshit. This is such slanted fucking propaganda. New research has brought to light the dramatic consequences to U.S. employers if DACA is repealed and renewals are put on hold. Even for a brief period of time, the chart above outlines the chronological job loss consequences of repealing DACA, resulting in the potential for an average of 30,000 DACA recipients to lose their jobs each month. Yeah, but there's going to be 30,000 Americans to pick up the slack and take those fucking jobs. I love how you leave that fact out, because you're like, oh, well, we're just going to lose these people for these jobs and they're going to be fucked. No, there are a shit ton of unemployed Americans that would love to be working these jobs. So, it would just be a transition. Nothing more. Okay. Moot. Non-story. You're fake news type shit. Let's go on. So they're like, yeah, they're trying to do the fair thing. 30,000 jobs. Furthermore, for every business day that DACA renewals are put on hold, an average of more than 1,400 individuals can be fired from their jobs. And because DACA recipients live in all 50 states and the District of Columbia, citizenship and the economic consequences will be felt across the country. Not really. In a bad way, though, because, boom, they're gone. You got these Americans taking the jobs. They're not sending the fucking money to, outside of the country to, like, Mexico or, a country in Central or South America. That's getting flooded into the, put into the economy, which then causes, the economy to increase where they're putting the money, in the businesses that they're spending their money. That causes an increase in demand for labor. That means that those people are going to get jobs, and it's just going to be a continuous cycle. But you want to hide that fact. The data further shows that job loss resulting directly from the repeal of DACA will begin immediately and will continue over the course of the next 2 years until all employed DACA recipients, nearly 700,000 individuals, are removed from the workforce, and all nearly 800,000 are subject to deportation. Yes, but you forget, again, all the Americans that are looking for jobs, boom, taken care of. And you make it sound like 800,000 people getting deported is a big thing. 800,000 really ain't that much, not in a country of 300 million, and we're small population-wise compared to other countries. The study found that firings will increase over the course of the next 2 years to reach a high point in the third quarter of 2018, when more than 11,000 individuals can be fired each week, a total of nearly 14,000 total individuals fired during the quarter. During the third quarter of 2018, a DACA recipient can be fired from their job every 13 seconds. Big fucking whoop. That's less than fucking 6 a minute. That's what? 36 an hour? That ain't that much. There were more Americans getting fired. There were more Americans, like under Bill Clinton, losing their jobs because of the fact of shipping, manufacturing, and automation and all that shit. When they sent manufacturing out of the country, and yeah, there were more Americans losing their jobs. Fuck these DACA people. Americans want these jobs. And then they got to put this so that people really see it and they freak out. And I apologize for the pages switching. I'm so used to scrolling and the way that this PDF reader works. If it was zoomed in more, it wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, so anyways, I apologize for that. Work authorizations issued to DACA recipients are no different than those issued through countless other visa categories, meaning that many U.S. businesses may not even know whether they are employing a DACA recipient. Oh, I think they know they're employing a DACA recipient. I'm pretty sure they would know. So to say that they wouldn't is just kind of ignorant. Revoking the ability for current DACA recipients to renew their deferrals would force businesses into the impossible and extremely costly position of having to fire productive employees for no other reason than an arbitrary change in federal policy, potentially resulting in backlash from other employees or their broader community. Excuse me? I highly doubt that these people are going to give two shits about the DACA people getting fired. I mean, if they're their friends, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I feel bad. Sorry, you got to go. You know. But they're really not going to give a shit. Most of them, at least. Some leftist little fuckers might. But they're the only ones that are going to give a shit. And the broader community, the only ones that are going to be causing fucking issues are those communities that these people make up. And they're going to be their fellow fucking illegal aliens that got a fucking temporary free pass. That's all. Nothing more. Oh, and some leftists, but yeah, let's not leave them out. And the impossible and extremely costly position. How is it costly to fire someone? Oh, I know why you're saying it's costly. Because they're going to have to hire an American at a fucking higher wage, a fairer wage, because you won't have these illegals suppressing the hourly wage or the salaried wage. Aha! I can smell what you're cooking there. DACA recipients are already living openly in our communities. They are our co-workers, teachers, nurses, and home health care workers, among many other professions. Yeah. Well, that explains propaganda in fucking schools if they're fucking teachers. They shouldn't be fucking teachers in this country. Period. Part of being a teacher in this country should be that you have to come here legally. And that you respect the system. Because if you're going to teach in school, you should be someone who's upstanding. And nurses, how the fuck are they getting their certifications? I don't get this. They shouldn't be able to. Repealing this program and forcing businesses around the country to fire hundreds of thousands of people within our communities will have a devastating impact. Not really. It'll have a positive impact because, boom, all these unemployed Americans, they got jobs. 700,000 of them. Further, such action by the federal government would place a staggering cost both financially and in relationship to their employees on businesses in nearly every sector of the economy and in turn in the communities across the United States. No, it wouldn't. Because they'd have to pay more for labor because they'd be hiring Americans. Fine. But that isn't what we're talking about here. For a staggering cost. And the relationship with their employees aren't going to give a shit. They had to fire them so that they don't go to, the employer had to fire this person so that they're not breaking the law. So, both financial and relationship with employees on business in nearly every sector of the economy and in turn in the communities across the United States. It's not going to work like that because it's not true about every sector of the economy. It really isn't. These people tend to work in particular sectors, like building trades, for example. There are a lot of Americans that would like to go back to doing that work. But they're competing with guys that are willing to cut their throat. And why are they willing to do that? Because they're collecting and abusing the system. And they're sending money back to Mexico and they're taking welfare and food stamps and everything else. And I'm not saying all, but there's more than a few that are doing that. So that's going to be looked at as well. Reporting by the Center for America. Oh, wait. I love this. Got to put it in bold. I'm sorry. Repealing DACA means 7,234 jobs lost every week. You mean 7,234 jobs that Americans are going to be taking. But we won't go there because I don't want to friggin' blow up your mind, you know, with facts. I don't want it to go boom and see a cloud of smoke. I'd feel bad. Reporting by the Center for American Progress has found that nearly 91% of DACA recipients, Slajenka, Dwanitz, and Bautista Chavez in 2017. Okay, so they're the ones that came this. Okay, so 91% of recipients are currently employed across the country. Really? I don't know about that. And that they're supposedly contributing billions of dollars to our communities, our economy, and tax revenue? No, they're really not. Because the thing is, these are people who are, in most cases, in nearly all cases, are taking more out of the system than they're paying in. You don't want to admit that, though. Removing DACA recipients from the workforce will cost $460.3 billion in GDP loss over a decade. No, it won't. Because Americans are going to take those jobs. They're going to get paid more. They're then going to spend their money in the economy, which is then going to cause other businesses to have to hire more people. I've already been through this. Not only that, okay, you're not taking into account all the money that these people are sending across outside our borders here in the United States. That will now be inside the United States. Then there's the fact that they're not going to be exploiting the system and collecting free shit while they're doing that. So it's a win-win all the way around, but you don't want to fucking admit that. It will cost employers $3.4 billion in unnecessary turnover costs and will cut contributions to Medicare and Social Security by $24.6 billion over a decade. No, because again, you're going to have Americans taking these jobs. You're full of shit here, guys. This is fucking disgusting. Moreover, DACA recipients have been important drivers of economic growth in their communities. Bullshit. No proof. Just, yeah, I'm going to say this. It sounds true, and yeah, you're fucking lying. Oh my God. Nearly 6% of DACA recipients have launched businesses, many employing American citizens. A few have some people that are DACAs have done that. Not a lot. Further, almost 55% of DACA recipients purchased a vehicle, and more than 1 in 10 have purchased their first home. I don't know. Okay. So, yeah, but they're doing this, and they're able to do it because they're exploiting the fucking system, most of them. Not all, but a lot. So, they're getting away with that, and they're able to buy these things while Americans are going without just to fucking survive. It's fucked up shit. By every measure, DACA has... Alright, so let's get into the conclusion now. By every measure, DACA has been extraordinarily beneficial, allowing nearly 800,000 individuals in the United States to live, work legally, and contribute to the only country most of them have ever known. So, yep, say what you're going to say it, and then say it again. That's exactly what it's like someone here took a composition class. And not most, a decent amount, yeah. This might be the only country they've ever known. But they were born in the other country. You're making it sound like they were born here. They, with that tonality and the wording. The economic benefits of this program are clear and profound, and the dire consequences of repeal would be devastating. At this point, as this report is outlined, even a temporary hold on DACA renewals would cause tens of thousands of individuals to lose their ability to live and work in the United States. Yeah, but Americans would pick up the slack. Every day that DACA renewals are put on hold will result in more than 1,400 individuals losing their ability to work legally. Okay, how many illegals are working? Hell of a lot more than that. In addition to the reprehensible moral consequences, gotta bring in morals into this. Moral consequences? What moral consequences? They got a temporary reprieve. You want it to be perpetual. There's no moral consequences to that. They've got 4 fucking renewals? Something like that? Fuck them. It's time to go back. End of story. Time to go back. So yeah, in addition to the reprehensible moral consequences, ending DACA would place severe economic strain on businesses around the country, putting them into the impossible and extremely costly position of having to fire productive employees for no other reason than arbitrary change in federal policy, potentially resulting in backlash from other employees or their broader community. Literally, they were so lazy on this, say what you're going to say it, and then, say it again, that they're literally copying and pasting shit here for the most part. So, they're trying to make this sound like, it's cats and dogs living together. But it's really not. Because what's strain on the business? They got to find new employees. There's a shit ton of Americans that want and need to work. Sounds to me like a match made in heaven. That's solved. So there's not going to be severe economic strains on the business for having to go and fire quote-unquote productive employees. If you have to keep reiterating that they're productive employees, they're not fucking productive employees. Because you shouldn't have to say whether they're productive or not if they're productive. Because there's no reason to call it into question. But if it's being called into question, they're obviously not. So, yeah. Good job for fucking kind of admitting that you don't think they're productive members of society. Because if you're going to keep reiterating, you're not so sure. And it's for more than no... Oh, I love this. For no other reason than an arbitrary change of federal policy. No, it's not a change of federal policy. It's a repeal of a fucking executive order. And through that, okay, people now being held to the same standard as the rest of the people in this country. Okay, meaning that they're breaking the law, they're now going to have to deal with the fucking consequences. It's that simple. And then you get this backlash from other employees. What other employees? They're going to have overtime. They're going to have fucking higher wages. They're not going to be bitching. They're going to be going, thank you. And the broader community, the only people that are going to be bitching in the community are people that are facing deportation. People that no longer have, their pseudo-anchor babies. Those are the people that are going to be fucking upset. DACA was always designed to be temporary, but repealing the program without a process for individuals currently protected by it to continue to live and work in the United States will place an extreme hardship on the on U.S. businesses, on local communities, and on the American economy. Okay. So, yeah, it was always designed to be temporary, but they should be able to continue working here. DACA being temporary, meaning is that they were only supposed to be here temporary. That after DACA was done, they were fair game to be told to go home. But yeah, you don't want it to be looked at that way because facts hurt your feelings. And it's going to place an extreme hardship on no one. U.S. businesses, like I said, boom, we're going to be able to find employees, no problem, because you get so many unemployed Americans that would more than be willing to take the jobs. The local communities, I don't see that happening. Again, the only issues you're going to see in local communities are those who are of the same ethnic, backgrounds and are upset. The only other ones, that you're going to see with that are people that are facing deportation as well. That's it. Oh, and the leftists. I can't leave out the leftists. Sorry. Congress is considering a number of pieces of legislation to protect current DACA recipients statutorily, and the administration should not take action to change the existing DACA program without first signing legislation to address the urgent challenge of protecting DACA recipients. Protecting DACA recipients. All right, you know, I feel bad for them, but I feel worse for Americans. So to me, it's don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. Honest to God. I'm not a religious man. I just like that phrase. Because Americans need to come first. Once we take care of all the Americans and their problems, then and only then should we be looking at helping those that are from outside the United States. Whether they come here or we help them in their native country. This is just a way for Zuckerberg and his little group of fucktards to try to push a narrative and to try to make people feel guilty and keep DACA alive. Because it only hurts Americans, especially black Americans. Anyways, this is the Constitutionalist Libertarian. I don't normally do that. I don't know why I'm doing it again. But if you like the video, definitely upvote it or give me a thumbs up for it. If you want to see more of my content, definitely subscribe. If you're on YouTube, ring that bell so you get notified about new content coming to the channel. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.